I went to London College of Music when it was in its old site, Great Marlborough Street in the West End, and it was quite a small college then. And I was a trumpet player actually, so I studied trumpet and piano. And I was a fairly good trumpet player. I left college, I was freelancing and teaching and stuff, and then I started doing some arrangements, and I became aware that I was a better arranger than I was a trumpet player, because my arranging career was really taking off. Especially this was kind of early 90s, and there was a lot of pop string arranging. It was pre sort of good string samples, really. People were using this kind of gear. And there were lots of studios, and so we used to use live string players. So I did a lot of arrangements for people like Tom Jones and Catatonia and Badly Drawn Boy, Mel C. And that was my way in. And then via the people I met while I was doing that, I started getting into film, and then I sort of became a film arranger and conductor. And the strange paths your career leaves. It's great, isn't it? We're both musos, and it's a broad church, isn't it? We're both in this room together looking at these incredible old analog synths. Different ones for different reasons. I've been lucky to work on some cracking films, like Moulin Rouge and Love Actually. I really enjoyed working on Judy with Renée Zellweger, because I was there from the beginning of production. I rehearsed with her in London 3 months before we went into principal photography. And then I did all the arrangements of the songs, her Judy Garland big band songs, which was really good fun. Then I wrote some music for it as well, because they wanted sort of big band music alongside the traditional score that was done by Gabriel Yared. Val Decker wanted to do an album afterwards, so we did an album of songs from the film and some extra ones, and we got Grammy nominated for that. From start to finish, it was a really nice experience. It really varies on the project. Sometimes you do more, sometimes you do less. Sometimes, you're just enhancing what the composer's already done. Judy, I did quite a lot, because obviously I wrote some music for it as well. I was really shaping the arrangements. Barbie was a great experience working with Mark Ronson and Andrew Wyatt on that. It varies job by job. Sometimes you do exactly what you're told, and other times you can bring more of your creativity to it. Barbie I had quite a lot of influence on that, just because Mark and Andrew, the two writers, had never really written a film score before, so they needed a little help getting that over the line. So I helped kind of shape things for them there, and they gave me quite a lot of latitude with the arrangements, so I could bring quite a lot to the table, because they were used to just doing pop tracks very successfully, obviously, but they needed sometimes a little bit of guidance into how to make these pop tracks into something that was a bit bigger and would fit into another film landscape. So that was quite creative, and I could bring quite a lot to it. Hans Zimmer, originally he wasn't going to do the score. It was another guy called Dan Romer who I was going to arrange the score with him. And then for whatever reason, he left the project and Hans came in. He rang me up and said, look, I know you're already attached to this. Do you want to conduct the score? And I said, yeah, great, fantastic. And he goes, do you want to help me arrange the title song? And I said, yeah. And he said, oh, we've got Billie Eilish. And it was like, wow, really? And he said, yeah, it's like we're struggling at the moment. The demo was fantastic, but it didn't sound like a Bond song. It was quite small. The challenge really was to try and make it into a Bond song, whilst also not killing that sort of amazing, fragile vibe that Billie brings to her vocals. I think when we recorded it, we recorded 4 different versions, and each one was slightly bigger than the last. And the last one was my full-on version with sort of brass and, quite a rising chorus and like strings going a little bit crazy. We thought, oh, this is going to be too much. And actually, Billie was there in the studio, and she goes, that's the one I want to sing on. So she redid her vocals and kind of rode the crescendo at the end, and it was like, you heard that she can do a belt when she wants to. For a British arranger to arrange a Bond song, that's a big tick. That was one off the bucket list. And then it won an Oscar. They reached out to me through the alumni program initially, and I think I came in and did a lecture or a seminar, and Nick, who runs the department, was very impressive, and the facilities were amazing. So then I kept coming in, and then they very generously offered me an honorary doctorate. I'm very proud of it. I always say to any student who asks me that question, in an environment such as this, where you've got so many different courses, and you've got drama courses, and you've got games courses and game, makers courses. But it's such a unique opportunity to mix with different people. So I always say that, don't just hang out with the musos, hang out with the actors, hang out with the directors, hang out with the people making games, because any one of those could lead to something. You're in this incredible creative melting pot, and probably the only time in your life where you're going to be in one space with all these people together. Just try and widen your horizons, because these people could well employ you. The games industry in music is a huge thing. So many video game scores are recorded in the UK, and there's big business. And same in theatre, that's another way. And if you get in with an actor who then becomes a director and wants somebody to write. And the other thing I say is just, be open, be open to different things that come your way, and try and say yes a lot, because you never know where that path will lead. I thought I was going to be a trumpet player, and I end up conducting amazing orchestras and working on big films. There's so many different aspects of a music career that you can forge, and don't be so stuck on one thing. And scene.